Fox can now confirm that California Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell has been criminally referred to the Department of Justice accused of mortgage fraud. Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey reporting live on this breaking news on Eric Swalwell from the North Lawn. Hey, Peter.
Eric Swalwell, the Democratic California congressman, has indeed been referred to the Justice Department by Bill Pulte, who is the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now, because he is accused of making false or misleading statements on a mortgage application. We believe that this pertains.
Well, that's the wrong intro for today, but either way, it's
well. I like that. I like that. Eric's got some technical issues over here, but I like that intro anyway. That's because of our friend Joel Groubert out in Thousand Oaks, California. The Dylan cover band documentarian. Most likely you'll go your way and I'll go mine. Highway 61 Productions, who revealed this to the American public through his own getting off his own fat ass and doing something. Joel Groubert, one of the great single forces in American MAGA journalism, not unlike Nick Shirley. I mean, Joel's been doing it longer. And he's a little bit older than Nick Shirley, but credit where credit is due, because he revealed this and filed, a lawsuit against the Secretary of State, which has been rejected by the California Supreme Court. But nevertheless, the sidebar situation is that he's committed mortgage fraud, allegedly, because you can't have it both ways. He can't claim your primary domicile is California to run for governor and then get a mortgage, primary mortgage, claiming that's your primary residence, Eric.
That and more's coming out with him. Not only does he like Chinese spies that are called Fang Fang, but apparently he likes his interns a lot. And one after another are starting to come out saying, oh, yeah, he did me too, but he made us sign NDAs. So
yeah, well, also the breaking story this week from Joel was on the Brazilian nanny who is illegal and no taxes deducted, no FICA, no unemployment insurance, no anything. And she's with him on every single excursion. He's probably doing something with the Brazilian nanny separately, but nevertheless, this is an illegal situation with the nanny, allegedly.
Maybe he's the Heidi Klum of males. He's going for like one from every culture out there: China, Brazil.
He's an eclectic cat. He's an eclectic dude. Yeah. It all started with Fang Fang, and we built it up from there.
Absolutely, but you know what? There's somebody else who will have some time if he's out looking to date. Pam Bondi, she's might have more time in her social life to date other people.
Well, I don't know what her status is, but I wouldn't be surprised if she turns up at Fox, with her own show. She seemed to have a place to go even before the announcement of her career ending at the Department of Justice. I don't even know when the career started. This thing is apparently, I think the testimony where she was screaming at Nadler was the knife or the last nail in the coffin, when she was yelling at the committee there a couple of weeks ago.
Well, to bring it to Swalwell, and I haven't confirmed it, I saw a couple tweets going around that supposedly she tipped off Swalwell to investigations on him potentially too. So.
Well, the alleged charge is that's an alleged charge. Somebody, whether it's her or not, is yet to be seen. But someone tipped off Swalwell that the FBI was about to come down on him to arrest Fang Fang, and the FBI has always claimed that the only civilian who knew about it was Eric Swalwell. That doesn't mean internal prosecutors didn't know about it. They did, obviously, but they are not mentioning them, the FBI. But now what's being leaked is that she was the one who tipped off Swalwell that they were coming for Fang Fang. That's a horse of another color, and she seems to have some sort of goody two-shoes some sort of weird relationship with Swalwell based on the tone of, right, Eric? I mean, what was going on there in that back and forth between the two of them? She's going to talk to him privately after the hearing. I'll meet with you. I'll discuss these investigations that you're referring to. I completely agree. I was like, what?
Very, very weird.
Right.
Very weird. So either way, it's Freeform Friday, and Friday should be celebratory, and her being out the door. So her and Christine Nome, I'm very happy with the thumbnail. It's nice to get them in one shot. Fired.
Yeah. There may be other beauty queens. Again, the question arises, why did you hire these beauty queens only to fire them in episode 7 of your ongoing TV series here? I mean, it's berserk. I mean, every single human that I respect was critical of the hiring of Pam Bondi. I Googled myself to find out how far back I had said it, and it goes back over a year, almost to the day, in 2025 that she had to go. March 5th, I think, was the first time I said it on this show. But nevertheless, I'm concerned about her replacement, who was Todd Blanche, who is a lifelong Democrat, who supposedly, and this is not documented, switched to the Republican Party 5 minutes ago, and now he is running the Department of Justice. And I also Googled the fact that no opposition party member in the history of the United States has ever run the Department of Justice, the opposite party of those sitting in the Oval Office. This is the first time. You could say that he switched to the Republican Party 5 minutes ago. There's no record of that I have yet to see.
It is such a risk. Now, Trump did say he's the interim, so let's hope that it is that. And, I would like to see Trump find a Dershowitz, or even like a Jonathan Turley might be a good one, or, somebody. Definitely not a beauty queen, somebody with gravitas, somebody who's really respected. Be kind of nice, but most importantly, loyal, because the attorney general can knife him 2 ways from Sunday.
Well, again, this guy has 50,000 old Democratic friends who are now calling him up. I'm just being rational. This guy was a white shoe law firm his entire life. He's got 1 million Democratic friends and relatives who are now calling him on the phone, congratulating him about taking over the Department of Justice under the tutelage of Donald Trump. If that's not an accident waiting to happen, I don't know what is. She was incompetent. This guy's a Democrat. I don't know which is worse. Now, you could say it's interim. However, whoever he chooses, and I think it's going to be Cornyn. This is my belief. I think Paxton is too far. Yes. Paxton's too far ahead in the race for Trump to endorse Cornyn. Cornyn's going to be a man without a country, and Cornyn is going to be, I believe, the next Attorney General of the United States at some point. Again, he's easily confirmable by the Senate, which people are not even addressing. Anybody that you think, like a Joe DiGenova, who I'd love to see, who's 81 years old, is unconfirmable, even though he was in the Reagan Justice Department. A lot of these guys are unconfirmable. Cornyn is not. And obviously, this Todd Blanche is probably not, if he sticks with Todd Blanche. That being said, Todd Blanche seems exactly like his attorney Cohen, Michael Cohen. It seems like the same guy. I don't know. He looks like him. He acts like him. Comes from the same world as him. And look what happened with Michael Cohen.
The Cornyn I never thought of, and that almost flips it on its head. Like, if Cornyn was going to win, I think he was going to pick Paxton.
Yes, absolutely. But Paxton is now about 20. Paxton is now about 25.
General, but a better senator.
Paxton is about 25 points, or 20 points ahead, according to my Texas friends in the primary. Cornyn is now going to be a man without a country, and I believe that he will end up being the nominee. But that being said, that may be months away. In the confirmation process, the Senate soon. All of these people are going to extract their pound of flesh again from Donald Trump to confirm whoever he picks to be the attorney general. They're going to hold it up, and it's not ideological. When a veteran politician holds up a confirmation, it's to extract something from the president that he wants for his own personal, not personal, his own political reasons. So Thune is going to do that. McConnell has always done it for whoever the nominee is. It's a federal process, federal project, because they extract their pound of flesh. That being said, Cornyn is like the face of rhinoism, Eric, as you're well aware. But it's better than having a Democrat, I think.
Well, yes. Lee Zeldin has also come up a
Yeah.
lot, and it's being floated out there. But, you know, you never know, I guess. Cornyn could be a Marco Rubio. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are occasions that can be a surprise.
Could be a Ted Cruz.
It could be. I still think Ted Cruz may go to the Supreme Court. I wouldn't.
Right, but again, that might be years away. I mean, somebody's got to split, someone's got to die, something's got to happen. You know, I mean, for that's a crapshoot. But this, I mean, you got to fill this right away. Otherwise, you've got a Democrat and his friends running the Department of Justice.
Yeah,
I don't know. You know, there people are saying that Todd Blanche has, that despite her incompetence, and D. Geneva said that she was a micromanager, and that's why none of these prosecutions got off the ground. But I'm also hearing that they were undermined by Todd Blanche every single step of the way.
It's entirely possible, but good God, she should she should have been on it. I mean, if she was that much of a lightweight that she could be, you know, around that, I just feel like she wasn't really there. She is at Fox the whole damn time.
Well, what I'm saying is that apparently it was the opposite, that she was there and micromanaging and getting in the weeds of every single move that anybody tried to make, according to Joe DeGeneva last night on Greg Kelly. So I've heard the opposite too.
Right, which is kind of like, okay.
No, I mean, you could be an incompetent micromanager, Eric,
that's
and
true.
Just muck up the works, saying everything's got to go through me. I'm having my nails done. I'd like to know what's going on with this, that, and the other, and nothing ever happens, you know.
And then everybody will feed her bullshit to keep her busy while they're trying to do other things.
Yeah. I mean, clearly in over her head. I mean, we've said this ad nauseum on this channel, that this day was coming. I can only blame Susie Wiles. They're best friends. They come from the same state. She recommended the pick. I said Susie Wiles has to go. There may be other people going now, according to Trump rumors.
Right. Well, and you know, Bondi,
by the way, she does
not be popular at the office.
I don't know. Is that AI or is that really her picture in the garbage, Eric?
I don't know who did it. I saw it going around and I was like, it's yeah, okay, somebody else is claiming fake news. I'm not sure. Oh, it's MS Now. That was why I didn't pick it. I was like, MSNBC, MS Now, whatever they want to call themselves. I don't know. You know, I thought TMZ might be slightly better, but I'm going to say it would be funny if it's true, but I don't know if it's true.
Well, I think the reason we were talking about the Justice Department is the importance of this Kirchhoff investigation that I was talking to Eric before the show. These documents that were dumped yesterday about Kirchhoff, who...
Well, back up a little until...
I am going to tell the story about Kirchhoff now because nobody knew the name of this person. These documents were given to the defense in the January 6th pipe bomber case.
Brian Cole, I think his name, right?
Right. Of the kid, you mean?
Yeah, Brian Cole.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the kid, but it's this autistic black kid who somehow came out of the woodwork as the pipe bombing suspect. The kid is autistic. He could barely walk a dog. He's African American. He's on the spectrum. And that came out of nowhere following the authorities closing in on the story that the gate of the bomber was that of a woman. And unbeknownst to us, in these documents that were released yesterday to the defense of this kid, Brian Cole, in those defense is a woman named Kirchhoff. Miss Kirchhoff is in a relationship or married to a Mr. Dickert. And Mr. Dickert and her are either husband and wife or a boyfriend and girlfriend. Dickert works for the DC Metropolitan Police, and it turns out she works for the CIA. She failed multiple polygraph examinations over the pipe bombing case, and they were in on getting her because if you remember, people at home, The story was the gait, G-A-I-T, of the suspect was that of a woman. That story immediately disappeared when they targeted the black kid who was autistic and arrested the black kid who was autistic. That made the female gate story disappear. This is the woman who was the suspect that Eric is showing right here. This woman, this is when she was a police officer, but later graduated to the Central Intelligence Agency, where they polygraph you all the time. You have to pass those polygraphs, as Eric is well aware, as a G15 or G17 or whatever it is. And she failed these polygraphs for this investigation of her actual alibi of where she was. She provided a video with her voice in the background of some dogs, saying, I was playing with my dogs at the time of the alleged incident of planting the pipe bombs. The testimony is sketchy as F, and the polygraph failing indicates some level of complicity because she couldn't fail a polygraph and still be employed by the Central Intelligence Agency. This is some bombshell thing that came out late yesterday, and people believe that it was given to the defense to clear the black kid, to get him off the hook as a patsy that he obviously is, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's wild, Eric, wild.
And we discussed it before. My issue then is, if he is a patsy, which may be true, there was a lot of evidence that came up that was associated with him. So I would like to know, where did all of that other evidence come from? We really need to investigate, because these were things like buying the pipes and the bomb, the piping material, his shoes from Home Depot, being on camera, his car being a location, GPS, and
well, both could be true. Both can be true. He could be a patsy doing those things to frame himself unknown to him, and she could have been doing the physical, actual stuff.
And that was the one thing that I said, is if he was potentially run by somebody, then, but it's like there's something tying him to this scenario, or this evidence is completely fabricated, and that becomes a huge problem.
Well, that's why they believe someone gave the defense those documents yesterday, because whether it's a whistleblower or not, they believe that this kid is being framed. And now we have the real primary suspect, Kirchhoff, from the Central Intelligence Agency. Now, I don't know where this goes, but this is where we are today on Friday, April 3rd, 2026. And that's why I'm concerned about the Justice Department, because this might be something that Todd Blanche completely drops the football on.
Well, why not? Keep the pattern alive.
Why not? Why not?
I mean, the fact that he even was found and charged came out of nowhere. And in fairness, was a wag the dog type of moment, because it happened during one of the Epstein flare-ups. I'm just going to call it flare-ups, because it's Epstein files, and then it kind of settles down. And then it settles down. That was during one of those flare-ups that suddenly the pipe bomber had been identified, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's true too, but also it was after the semi-identification that the perpetrator was a woman, based on the gait. That was where the investigation left off, and the next move was this black kid. Yeah, who is severely mentally challenged, by the way. This is
autistic. He's severely autistic.
I don't know if really autistic covers it, but I'm just trying to put another.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that people in general, autism's not considered mentally. It's kind of a different category. So I want to.
Well, I don't know where you want to spin it, but I live in the 21st century where mentally challenged is still a thing, and this kid is mentally challenged.
Okay.
I don't know what else I can tell you, but anyway, I just wanted to get that in there before we moved on.
All right. Well, I don't want to ignore the other big story of the day, because if we don't report it, there are people flocking saying, oh, there you go, something bad happened with the Iran conflict, and you ignore it. So let's go right to it. One of our
What is
jets
it? What is it we're going to?
One of our jets was shot down.
Says
Obviously,
who?
it's
Says who?
a bad deal. I think the Defense Department or Department of War has said that it happened. They have rescued one of the pilots.
Mhm.
They're in U.S. I don't want to say custody, but they're back with us at this point. And that was the last that I heard. They're still searching for another crew member from the jet. So it
Okay.
happens. I mean, obviously, it's.
Is
not a
that
great
where we
thing.
are in this war? I mean, is that the minimalism of this conflict? I mean, people are equating it to Afghanistan and to Iraq that went on for how long, Eric?
Well,
Decades?
Afghanistan went on for 20 some odd
Yeah,
years. I don't
right.
even. Yeah, no.
We are, I think, 32 days into this conflict, and they're equating it to Vietnam. I will suggest to you that it's more exactly like something that lasted 78 days, and that was the Kosovo conflict.
It could be. It could
No,
be.
I'm asking you, what does it resemble? Of the three choices that you have, Kosovo, Afghanistan, or Iraq, or throw in Vietnam.
How about you throw in the first Iraq that lasted about 2 weeks? So,
Okay,
it could be
forgot about
between
It could be
that.
that one.
Well, people don't ever want to talk about that. It's like there was never any successful thing with Iraq. If you listen to some folks,
Right.
George H.W. Bush had no success whatsoever. He didn't go do it in 2 weeks, and then he's out.
Eric's right. I forgot about that. You're absolutely right. But I equate this right now historically to Kosovo at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I don't know. It was a 78-day campaign. This is 3 days now. Trump came on and said he's going to wrap it up in a couple of weeks. I don't know where the critics are going to go after a couple of weeks. So I believe, as Eric has pointed out numerous times, they will claim that their influence forced the president to end the war.
Yeah.
Right, Eric?
Well, if you have to always be right,
yeah,
that is helpful.
Right.
It was pointed out, pretty viciously that apparently some of our bases have been hit. Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that, and I will take on information and go ahead. And
what are the rules of this engagement, though? That's where you're going with this. If the rules are never getting hit, never losing anything, I mean, I don't know what planet that exists on.
Well, it's called a moving goalpost. I mean, whatever. I understand it. I never want to downplay. I don't want a single service member to get harmed. Ever. I want it to be perfect and sterile all the time, but it can't happen. It's nearly impossible to not have some casualties in some ways, and the not considering how much has been done, it's pretty light. I think any objective observer would say, how many people have you lost so far? How much of equipment have you actually lost compared to the damage that you've put out?
It's night and day, Eric. I mean, you're right. Yeah. It's night and day. I mean, come on. I mean, what is the yardstick to measure this military campaign? I mean, it's bizarre. Now you could say you're opposed to it. Okay, now you're opposed to it, and it's going on for 30 days. Let's measure the failures and successes. It's a lopsided seesaw. I mean, it's almost, and I hate to say it was close to perfect, but it kind of was and is.
Yep. It is what it is. And you know what? I'm in a mood, so I want to address this chat.
Hunley's in a mood.
Will you ever have any more America's Untold Stories, or you become a right-wing talk show only?
Dale, why are you watching the show?
We are covering the news right now.
Get a fucking life. Get a life. Why?
Anyway, we're covering the news. If you hate it, bye-bye. I don't know what else to do.
Eric's got it. The people who keep writing this are Trump haters. That's why they don't want us supporting the president. They have told me this in many comments. They want us to do stories on President Garfield, despite the fact that we're at war in the world right now. They don't want to hear anyone promoting through some intelligent dialogue the policies of the current administration. If you had the fucking courage of your convictions, you would flat out say that, but you're a gutless coward. So you're writing do stories about 1885 because I can't watch this anymore. That's how I interpret you through the enigma machine of my political mind. And Eric's great for calling that up on the screen.
I think it's probably more Kennedy. Kennedy, please talk about JFK.
Well, he
Please
didn't
talk
say
about
that.
JFK.
You know,
Yeah.
he wasn't specific. He doesn't care
That's true.
anything but the current support of the administration. He can't, because when you have TDS and you put on this channel and you hear what we're talking about, I imagine your freaking head explodes.
Which is the funny part too. So I think we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Because we also are taking some incoming because we
Right.
criticize Trump for his hiring ability.
Right. And then they say you're always supporting him. And then when you're not supporting him, they go, you're always criticizing him. Is it possible it's balanced? I know that sounds insane to the incredible fractured political world, but we have given him incoming when we felt necessary and supported him when we felt necessary.
Well, I think slurping a water bomb is stating the sentiment of many. Can we please talk about Ruth Paine?
No, he's right. Now that's funny. I appreciate that.
But anyway.
We have gone out of our way to do things like, bring you the White House correspondent from Newsmax, which nobody else does, bringing on people like Joel Gilbert when appropriate. We have done bringing on Vince Palomaro when appropriate for JFK stuff. We do things when it's time appropriate. We're in the middle of a freaking war, in the middle of a Marxist revolution in the United States, and you want me to talk about Houdini or some sort of Henry Ford storyline. Give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
it is what it is.
We would love to do it. We don't have an entire production crew that's going
Right.
to research and hand us scripts, and we'll read off of a teleprompter or whatever.
There's still tens of thousands of people.
There's
tens of thousands of people watching us twice a week live, winging this thing.
Yeah, and
somebody must be watching it.
That's true. We have people watching it, I feel, just to criticize, which is
that could be true too.
I kind of wonder. There's the Kanye West quote. I never thought I'd listen to Kanye West for a quote, but I kind of like it. He goes,
all right,
if you hate everything I do and are still watching, bitch, you're a fan.
That's funny. That's a great quote.
It really is. And I'm like, of all people, it's Kanye West. But, okay.
Look, the guy's the mad genius. What can I tell you?
And he's definitely got.
I just got to get this out before it disappears. The Curtis Sliwa cat video with Mandami reveals the cooperation that Sliwa, as a phony candidate, was there to undermine Cuomo, and he starts joking about it. This story has disappeared.
Is this really a thing, or is this actually a thing or a parody channel? Because I looked at it, I'm like, this looks like a parody channel.
No, he that actually was Curtis Sliwa with the mayor. No, this was covered by Greg Kelly the other night. Kelly lost his shit. This was a real thing. They have a relationship as friends. It was revealed that he was working behind the scenes to undermine Cuomo. It's now been revealed he was a phony candidate. Oh no, Eric, there's so much meat on this bone. That's why Trump wouldn't endorse Sliwa. Trump said he's not a Republican. He smelled this out, Trump.
Wow. Well, I knew.
Yes, wow.
I knew that it was going around at the time that Sliwa was staying in the race because he was nursing a lot of money off of the campaign for his girlfriend or fiance or whoever it was.
He makes jokes here about the mob threatening to kill him and how he took out Cuomo. No. Him and Mandami are in bed together. Yeah, I did not know this was the case. And Greg Kelly's head almost exploded the other night on Newsmax going after Sliwa.
Well, I mean, what a shame, because this is a multi-decade, supposedly heroic figure that we've now found out is a piece of shit.
He sees a Chavez, bro. He sees a Chavez. He's a total piece of shit.
Man.
He helped this Muslim Marxist take over the city of New York.
Which is just beyond shameful. I mean, at least
beyond shameful.
Oh God,
it's unbelievable. He's laughing about it with him in this mock interview. They're laughing, talking about it.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest because, dude, it's just the craziest story I've heard all month.
Oh, that's freaking dark.
That is dark, bro. But we knew something was up in that race, didn't we?
Well, yeah, because it was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this? It did not make any sense. But I just bought into the whole thing of, oh, he's going to write it out because this is free money. When you've got this campaign, they take you around, you go get to eat everywhere, every celebrity, all this. Yeah, maybe you would ride that out because you're a grifter. Well, it turns
apparently,
out he's worse than a grifter.
as Greg Kelly pointed out, the tip off was a speech he gave where he said he was going to move thousands of cats into Gracie Mansion and turn it into a pet, a cat sanctuary. And people are going, what? And I never saw that speech. And apparently that was what led to this thing with Mandami about the cats in the mayor's residence.
All right. Well, wow.
Wow.
That's sick. You know what? This will make me feel better.
Okay.
We've got a heavy donor here with John Strong dropping $100.
Thanks, John. Man, because we're getting our
no
asses
comment,
kicked.
no question, just donation. That's amazing.
He's going in the the Super Chat Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Thank you so much, John.
And he's a new member too. So thank you, John Strong. He's holding us.
Maybe he should talk to the guy who wants us to do stories from the Civil War.
Right. I don't know. I mean,
I just got to give a shout out to J.J. Abrams. I was talking to Eric before the show. This is the Robot Productions, the director, creator, Star Trek, and everything else.
Helped destroy Star Wars. Yeah,
helped destroy Star Wars. J.J. Abrams had a huge presence in Santa Monica, right by the pier. The 3rd Street Promenade is now filled with zombies. Santa Monica has been destroyed. He has sold his building and moved to New York, brought his entire business to New York. But the important thing was that 3 years ago, he donated $250,000 to Karen Bass and said LA needs Karen Bass. And last week, he said LA has been completely destroyed. Nothing in one person, and I'm not saying that everything was done by J.J. Abrams, but he represents a mindset of the elites, of the Hollywood elites, in one particular ball of wax of donating $250,000 to a black Marxist candidate, saying that the city needs her. She destroys the city. He admits she destroyed the city. He picks up everything and flees to another city, which not everybody can do, taking his entire businesses with him. Tip of the hat this week to Scumbag of the Week, J.J. Abrams.
Oh, God, don't.
Tip of the hat.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Well, and it's so sickening because these people who do this shit, it's like you have the money to leave. It's all those who are poor, who are working class that can't afford to leave.
Oh,
they're going to get harder. So it's like they're, already.
Well, he took his multiple businesses and employees as well. It's not just him getting a house in New York, Eric. He took all his projects and businesses with him. So, I mean, it's more than just one guy and his wife and kids leaving.
Astounding. Well, here, let's go and share this. Something uplifting that happened this week and kind of cool.
This? Oh, yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
And this is actually from the
Artemis II,
NASA's Cessna.
Humanity's next great voyage begins.
So it's really cool shot to get to see this.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh, it really is.
Roger, roll pitch.
And you had there was a plane that was flying overhead at the time. People were able to take video out the window of the plane.
Come on.
Could you imagine that on that flight? You'd be like, oh, what a day.
Look how beautiful that is.
Yeah, it is.
Do those rockets detach, the ones on the
Yes,
sides?
yes, they will be detaching toward the end of this video.
Oh,
As you listen to it, it's like getting up to 2,600 miles an hour. I'm like,
yikes.
It's yeah. I mean, of those of us who were around in the 80s always have a little bit of fear, or I do at this point, when I'm watching. I'm like, please, let it be okay.
Yeah, once you get out of the inner orbit, I think you're okay. Once
1 minute.
Yeah.
Approaching max Q.
On, constantly on.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on constantly on.
Now, what's it supposed to do? Orbit the moon and come back or
Yeah,
something?
it's supposed literally that. It's supposed to orbit the outside. It'll be the farthest man has traveled to date.
Right.
Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles
Here
per
it is.
hour.
2,600 miles an hour right now.
I could only go back to 1969 in the moonwalk, when they landed on the moon for the first time, and we were upstate in the Catskills, and they have no TV up there, no reception. So these people who were in the bungalow colony hooked up a small TV with an antenna, and so a lot of metal attached to the antenna, took it outside, put it on a table, and the entire bungalow colony was surrounding this little TV. And most of the people were of Eastern European origin who had fled from Nazi
dropping. Right.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Sorry. Go
These
ahead.
people had fled Nazi Germany years before and had become American citizens, and were now elderly. I mean, I was 13 watching this, but they started crying tears of joy. Watching this thing happen. It was an amazing. The patriotism that they showed was amazing.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering here too. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I am wondering, because we have the technology, because we have a bazillion, a ton of people who have the highest power telescopes right now that could be tracking this the entire way. Are we going to say that it really happened or not?
Oh, who cares?
I know. I'm just saying.
What are you giving them the time of day? Come on. Come on. They're fucking nuts. Give me a break with these nutbags.
And while we're
Did it
on
really happen?
Here's a brief interview with the astronauts who are on board right now.
The so-called astronauts. Well,
they're on a sound stage near you, Mark.
Yeah, look at it. Wow, that's far out.
Well, that's a really interesting question. How is it that you take a nap in there? What does sleeping even look like?
Look at Leo DiCaprio over here.
I like the spinning mic
left.
where they're like,
yeah,
here, okay, you get it. And it's just...
Well, let's see. So we've been off the planet for about 30 hours now, and we've had 2 very short naps. We actually just gathered for our first meal together in space. That is how busy we have been the last day and a half. It has been really an amazing beginning flight plan, but sleeping here is it's actually sort of comical. Christina has been sleeping heads down in the middle of the vehicle, kind of like a bat suspended from our docking tunnel. Victor's been up where Jeremy is right now. He's got.
Is there a bed?
Wedged in there.
No, there's no bed. They just float, and that's why.
Wow, that's kind of freaky, bro.
Like she's sleeping like a bat, as he said,
upside down.
Right, that would be wild. And
that is weird.
He said that he kept waking up, falling.
You know what? I would tie my feet to a girder and then somehow my shoulders to another girder, and make it like a space hammock, a gravity-free hammock.
Yeah, I would.
So I wouldn't move around. I would just tie myself off, I think, and see if that works horizontally.
I'm kind of with William Shatner on this. He talked about it when he went up to space, because he was all excited and everything, and he said that he looked out one side of the aircraft and he said, I just saw nothing but the darkest dark I've ever seen, and pure blackness, and said, that's death. And I looked back and I saw the planet under me, and that's life.
Yeah.
And he said, I was like, I never want to do this again. And
it's spooky. It's spooky. Yeah.
When he landed, like, damn near kissing.
Get me out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of am like that. I would never volunteer to go up into space. It's a little too much for me. I have mad respect for them, especially, think about it, Mark, they're actually shooting past the moon,
right,
and hoping that it does a button hook back. I'd be like, sitting there.
Well, it's an ellipse, right? It's just a really broad, long ellipse. In theory, the slingshot should work just like it did in Apollo, in the Apollo missions. I mean, the science is still the same.
Well, they at least landed, and then had a surface that they went.
Well, that seems scary to me. Yeah. Landing and get taken off. If that doesn't take off, you're looking for rescue 911.
All right, we got another hero here on a super chat that I have to share. Vince saying, "Great show. F these whiners."
Vince, thank you.
Keep doing your thing.
Vince knows. Now, this guy Vince knows this. I mean, right, Vince, or what? People just bitching and moaning with just. I mean, it's almost like we're trying to give our opinions in a fucking thunderstorm. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing this thing twice a week at our own expense. We have no scripts. We go live. There's no fucking safety net. And people are bitching and moaning. It really is fucking shocking. I got to be honest with you.
But thank you for all the cool people here who really are watching and pretty quiet. I mean, it's like there's always the extremely vocal, and I feel like that's what's going on too.
It's a microcosm of the country.
Influencer world is you have the loudmouths who happen to be huge with a big audience, and so every time they say something, even though they're a minority, they're amplified to 1,000 degrees. So it's kind of frustrating on that. We need more reasonable people, like, of course, Anthony here, who says it's Trump's fault.
He knows.
Every
he
time.
Knows.
It's always Trump's fault. Anyway.
Dude, who's the little hillbilly kid who was on Rogan? The kid.
Theo Vaughn was.
Theo Vaughn had a meltdown yesterday. On Rogan.
Dude, he's so anti-Israel. Oh my God, he's so like
even
Israel's going to kill us all.
Dude,
it's happening.
You got to get back on your antidepressants. Rogan was trying to talk the kid down. He was foaming at the mouth. Did not seem very sober to me. I'm just an impartial observer, but
no, he's
dude, he looked like he was out of his freaking mind.
He was like bugging out, and and the thing is that Rogan is not exactly pro-Trump anymore either. He's trashing the Trump audience, but it's like Theo needs some help.
He really needs help, bro. And if you can donate to our Give, Send, Go, we could send him back to rehab for rehabilitation.
Yeah, he's because he can be funny. He can be
like
his interview with Trump was pretty damn funny.
He's a comic. Why is that not enough anymore?
Yeah, good.
When did a comic have to become Jean-Paul Sartre? I mean, it's just insane. I mean, the lengths that these people are going to out of their profession. You hire a carpenter who comes over and says, I'm also a mechanic. I'm going to tune up your car. I go, no, that's okay. I've got a guy who does that. Just stick to the carpentry of the cabinets I asked you to build.
Yeah, good idea. Now, another story we covered. I know you have more on it, but follow up. Tiger Woods, some camera footage came out.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't look super well.
No. I mean, if you read the arrest report, I mean, he had the breathalyzer was zero,
right,
for alcohol, which is what I suggested on the show last week. He had loosey-goosey Vikes in his pocket. Once you have loosey-goosey pills in your pocket, that means you are eating them on a regular basis. This is just addiction lore in my world. If you've got Vicodin in your pocket or pills in your pocket, that means you need access to them all through the day and are not carrying the prescription bottle because you couldn't care less. So he took them from his prescription bottle and he puts them in his pocket so he can eat them all day. This apparently Vicodin is what he's on here, which has been his drug of choice since the beginning.
Somebody said benzo hiccups, the hiccups that he's doing now.
Oh, that I don't know. But he was arrested for Vicodin the first time, and this is apparently Vicodin again on this time. And it's hard to get people this day and age, unless you're a celebrity, to prescribe Vicodin. It's sort of a drug that has become persona non drugga, so to speak. But if you're a celebrity, the first person he called was Donald Trump.
Yeah, well,
And
apparently
then
he
he
told the
checked into
cops that
rehab.
he just got off the phone with them.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
and then
did he call him from the wreck? I
from
wouldn't
the
be
wreck.
surprised.
He called him from the wreck. Now, the second move, which is a cliche, is he immediately checked into rehab, which is move number 2 to try to avoid further charges. That's always recommended by your handlers and lawyers. So he's made both moves.
Well, I'm glad that he checked into rehab. Whatever happens, the rest, he should be trying to care for himself and, whatever. And hopefully he does get better. Hopefully it's
Well, hopefully they'll pursue where he's getting the drugs, because somebody's croaking him and giving him stuff that he should not be having as an addict from the previous events. He's been to rehab before. He's got an addiction to Vicodin and a sex addict, which is a separate thing. But nevertheless, whoever is providing him with Vicodin after being in rehab, we may want to know who that is. It might be a pill lab, or a pill mill.
Now, who comes into my mind is, because of, your friend Dr. Drew, is Jeff Conaway.
Oh yeah, that cat. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But yeah, same thing.
Oh yeah, he ultimately died in 2011. But he was on and off and on. I mean, yeah.
I was on the phone this morning with somebody in Miami whose father, big name celebrities, father's having all kinds of problems late in life, and we're going to see if we can help him. And there's a lot of people that need help.
Yeah, I agree.
But you can't have doctors keep supplying them, post rehab and stuff of that nature, because you got to cut that head of the snake off.
Well, this is like the Michael Jackson doctor, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
that's why I'm surprised to see Vicodin, because the reason people are ending up on fentanyl is the chain of command, or the chain of command, is that you get a prescription for benzo or Vicodin or opiates or whatever it is. The doctor cuts you off, rightfully so. You then go to the street for heroin. You then end up with fentanyl. Then you overdose and die. This has been repeated over and over and over and over again. But it starts with a doctor prescribing you the opiates. And, maybe to the doctor's credit, he sees an addictive pattern. It happened with Jeb Bush's daughter. She was running around South Florida with scripts, kiting scripts, going from CVS to CVS to CVS, and got arrested. And this was after Jeb Bush said that, drug dealers and drug users should be incarcerated. Well, it didn't apply to his daughter. He sent her straight to rehab.
Yeah. I agree. I think Dr. Drew has complained about his brethren doctors, as he puts it, and saying that they get so scared, they're skittish. He gave a full cycle. He said that one time they were instructed, I don't care what it is, if people say they're in pain, you give them something because they say they're in pain. Yeah. Then they realize there's addiction problems there. Okay, you're done, goodbye. But they don't ever help them get through a rehab or wean them off of the medication.
Yeah, there's no money in addiction therapy. I mean, Drew has said they barely teach it in medical school. Just addiction theory. They just don't do it. And he's talked about that for years.
Yeah. I feel like he's the lone voice. Sometimes.
He's the lone wolf. He's the lone voice.
Who is not an addict himself.
Right. He's not.
It's kind of a weird spot, right? I mean,
yeah.
That he's an honorary addict, but he's not.
No, he's an advisor to addicts. Let me put it that way.
As long as it's not a how-to.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. I saw this clip and I wanted to share it with you because it's not often you hear a Democrat, being somewhat reasonable. But we got Rahm Emanuel, and he tends to, come out and be a little bit more forthcoming. And I thought this was an interesting clip.
We lost the plot. We as Democrats nationally, from Latinx to defunding the police, police organizations are all racist, to bringing a set of cultural wars to our schools. We are on the losing side of those cultural wars. Full stop. You are worried about bathroom access and locker room access. Why don't you focus on classroom excellence? You have 50% of our kids not reading at grade level.
Well, they can just say we can do both.
You've proven you can't, because you've permitted a 30-year low in reading and math scores, and nobody seems to be calling the whistle on this. We've lost the plot.
Why?
because the party got unanchored. Every one of our most successful electoral presidents anchored themselves in what I call middle-class values and values that are universal, at least in this country, ascribed to. We went from acceptance to advocacy. Big difference. And I'll just take one on that I shouldn't. So here goes. I remember fighting for Title IX. The reason we are champions in women's sports in the Olympics and soccer, hockey, etc., is Title IX. Why would you undercut the premise of Title IX with the ability of trans men playing in women's sports? To me, it's insane.
Baffling.
You're undermining one of the great accomplishments we as a country, but also spearheaded by the Democratic Party, Title IX. And we're undercutting it.
It's a disingenuous argument because his we is not we. He is including himself and his party, the moderates, with the Marxist wing of the party. It's two separate parties. This broad we does not exist anymore. He knows that. It's a disingenuous argument. They haven't lost the plot. This is their plot. It's not your plot anymore. It's not Alan Dershowitz's plot anymore. It's not a lot of people, who, including myself, who are Democrats, plot anymore. It's been taken over by Marxist revolutionaries. The quicker you say that, the more honest you're going to be perceived. This broad we is an absurd analogy. They didn't lose Title IX. They didn't lose Title IX. They intentionally undermined it for their trans ideology.
Fair enough. But I'm thinking he's like a Dershowitz. I mean,
yeah, I said Dershowitz. I said that.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. And Bill Maher, who.
Right. These are the last men standing.
They're trying to stay home.
It's not enough. They're old. They're put out to pasture. As I said to you before, the last refuge of their situation are older white male Democratic liberals. They are despised by this party, this Marxist party of color. They are hated. They are mocked. They are laughed at. And they seem to be in some sort of bubble where they think that people still revere them or respect them. They are the laughing stock of their Marxist AOC people of color triad that has taken over the party, including BLM, including Antifa, including the Marxist Revolutionary Council. And these people refuse, no matter how many times you ask them, will never acknowledge that the Marxists have taken over their party. They dance around this and they say we. And it's a bullshit argument. And Emmanuel is full of shit and he knows it.
Well, while we're on full of shit, old school Democrats, one of our favorites piped up just the other day, yesterday, James Carville.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. And
this guy won't die.
He won't die. And he was in some of his Raging Cajun full tilt here. Carville warned Trump that he's in for a world of hurt after the Republican Party faced what many expect to be a defeat in the upcoming midterms. Carville and his trademark, I like how they say Southern style. No, asshole style, not
asshole style.
Not Southern style. Saying he would feel politically like getting punched in the mouth by Mike Tyson. Quote, let's talk about your future, your post-November future, Carville said, anticipating the defeat. The Democrats are going to investigate you to no end. They're going to start going after you. Then they're going to start figuring out where all the money stolen is, he continued. He's going to go after your stupid jackass kids and their spouses and the other bullshit that you see. They're going to investigate the shit out of you. So he's in a full tilt mode right now. And
yeah, that's another issue. I believe that the administration should try or attempt to make his life a living hell. Again, I don't. They seem to not have a fighting bone in their body when it comes to their enemies. They just seem to say, "Oh well, what damage could Carville do himself?" And he is calling for others to do what he wants to do. Carville. This is a cry for destruction of people's lives. It's a cry for retaliation against political lives. It's a going back to January 6th incarceration. That's what he's calling for. The fact that nobody will even attempt to make his life slightly uncomfortable is insanely bizarre to me. I was watching Sean Spicer last week, and he had on Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch, and he said, "Where is the fight in the Republican Party?" Spicer could not believe how lackadaisical, how soft they were, how they had absolutely.
Well, that's with Roger Stone, I think.
With both. He did it with both.
Oh, okay.
He did it with both. He also did it with Roger Stone. You're correct. And he asked the same question and didn't get an answer as to where, Stone said, and Fitton basically said that these Republicans are part of the establishment and they don't want to help. They want to wait out Trump until they can go back to Rhino land.
Yep.
Was basically the answer from both.
By the way, looking at him makes me think of something I do miss, which is Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yeah. He would be good in that.
Yeah, I mean, he really would.
He would. You know what? That could be his career. I mean, he's in the right location. There's swampy stuff down there, and it's bayou country. Why not?
I agree. All right. Well, speaking of shakeup, so I'm happy to see that Bari Weiss is continuing her onslaught and acts and now addressing the white whale in the room or whatever. 60 Minutes is that is sending trimmers through these idiots.
Wow. I heard she's going to cut 70, 80 people out of there right away. But I think the 600-pound gorilla in this room is Scott Pelley. Among these people that are, if you scroll down a little bit, I think you'll come to this douche.
Yeah.
Is that Scott Pelley?
He's been speaking out directly, thinking that he's invincible.
Yeah, this is a guy whose head has to be chopped off economically and physically here. Get him out of there. He's going to go, and then he'll have a podcast.
He will, but it'll be like Dan Rather. Will anyone watch it? It's like, look at Don Lemon out there, begging, raiding churches and doing anything he can to get visibility.
Guerrilla warfare. Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind now, obviously we've been very critical of Tucker Carlson, and I will continue to be, but Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon were fired on the same day, and who has more relevance?
Tucker Carlson.
By a mile.
Carlson.
By a mile. Don Lemon is just like a running joke out there, just trying to get some degree of traction wherever he can. So,
I agree.
Unfortunately, Tucker is not irrelevant and is not a joke. He is a giant problem. You sent me a thing Douglas Murray had written.
Trump put it out. Yeah, Trump posted
it,
Eric. I mean, can you get more of a knife in the back to Tucker than the president of the United States? I mean, what does this guy got to do to separate himself from this douchebag?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a knife in the back. I think that's kind of a punctuation. Okay, well, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, I feel like Trump's starting to clean house.
Without a doubt, bro. Without a doubt. I mean, there's going to be some more firings. That woman in the agriculture department, whatever her name is, who's got the bar in her office. She's going to go. That crazy Spanish lady. There's some other people are going to go.
And good. I wonder about Kash Patel. Honestly, I feel like
that's a rumor too.
He's
Kash Patel's about to go.
Yeah, and he didn't really help himself.
The guy's all over the map. I mean, I hope I see that the FBI is doing much better things, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
But the guy's erratic. I mean, let's face it. He's got this girlfriend problem. He's got fucking issues all over the map. I didn't see that were coming. I don't know why he can't rein in his own fucking social life. I mean, what's the deal with this guy?
Yeah, and I don't care for the whole access thing. Why do you have to hang out with the Olympic hockey team? Why do you have to do this and that?
I don't know.
It just seems
I don't know. He seems like he's off the rails. I'm sorry.
He does. Now,
that's something Trump could do. If you're the president, you bring him into the office and you hang out with them for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's been done. But really, you got to go drink with these guys in a locker room? You're the FBI director? What the fuck was that? What was that?
Now, I wanted to share this, but before I do, I see we've got some really generous people here today. Christine Barbick, 8033, said, I agree with everything you say about the Democrats. What I can't understand is how people will probably vote them into power with the next midterms. Well, one, it's a
First of all, thank you for the donation, number one, because we're getting our asses killed by YouTube.
Oh, yes.
But go on, Eric. I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you for the donation. I mean that for everybody, and I don't care if it's $2. I mean, thank you. Period. It helps out a ton. But one thing to note that this is a typical cycle. The midterms on a new presidency, when a power comes into power, they typically lose Congress.
And it's probably going to be 20, 25 seats, but I think they'll retain the Senate. You still have the Supreme Court, and you still have the White House. So it is what it is. I mean, you get 2 years to fucking do whatever you can do. Most of them squander the 2 years for reasons that I can never understand. They fuck around for
second term.
Yeah, they fuck around for 2 years and they lose the House. And then they go, oh my God, I'm being investigated. How many times has this happened? After a while, you just go, I mean, he hit the ground running as hard as he could, but he had so many headwinds against him this time also, you know, with these people buried in the Department of Justice, buried in every fucking department, every Marxist judge in the world that Biden put into place, slowing down. I mean, we are in a war against Marxism. I cannot emphasize this enough. Fuck everything else. Fuck NATO, fuck Ukraine, fuck the Middle East. We are in a domestic internal war against Marxist elements in this country. If we do not beat them here, we're finished as a nation. Fuck everything else. This is the internal enemy right here. This is where we have to focus.
Yeah, you got to clean up at home. While we're talking about that, I saw this and I just wanted to share because it's a great demonstration of culture. Not all cultures are the same, and
that's true.
You know, that's something we're seeing firsthand with who we bring in and stuff. And this is not here. This is Wembley Stadium, but it's so remarkable to see. This is after the Japanese won their football match at Wembley Stadium. This is what they did.
Oh, they cleaned up.
They picked up the entire side of the stadium, made it completely
We should
spotless.
all be Japanese. We should all use them as a role model.
I mean, think about that. That's just showing you the cultural differences. Somebody did a video. I was like, wow, that's shocking. They were walking through like downtown Tokyo, and to prove a point, they took off their shoes, had on white socks, and they walked around like 3 blocks and then showed everybody their socks were still white.
It's unbelievable. You know, Angela Merkel came out this week and said she intentionally flooded finally admitted she intentionally flooded Germany with Muslims to combat the right-wing conservative parties that were gaining strength in Germany. She admitted she did this. She should be indicted for crimes against humanity. But the Japanese, when they asked the Japanese, how many Syrian Muslims will you be taking as we divide them up? They said, we will be taking 0. And they said, what? He goes, yeah, we're taking 0. And I always admired that by the Japanese. This was like 6 years ago, right? They said, we will have none. And good luck with your destruction of your own cultures.
Right. And they're not being rude about it. They're saying Japan is for Japanese. They don't want Americans. They don't want us either. They don't want anybody but Japanese. You know, people can go and stay and work there and they'll trade, but they're very much
nationalistic.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a word. There's an old word we can use.
I know, and it's not necessarily.
I mean, the Marxists are for eliminating borders and eliminating nation states. People have to study people like David Horowitz, Radical Son. I strongly recommend you read that book to learn where we are. One of the central tenets of their movement is the ability to lie. They drill this into their own heads that you can lie for the cause of the revolution. Now, if you take away honesty and enforce lying, you cannot negotiate with them because anything they say can be a lie. I mean, you can't talk to them. They will lie to you in the middle of it. There's a woman running for mayor here, a Chinese woman running for mayor, Chinese American. We'll get to it when we get the mayoral candidates to come on. She puts a reverend in front of her name on Twitter and on Instagram that she's a reverend. She's an avowed Chinese Marxist lying that she is a religious pastor. there is no penalty for lying to them for the cause of the revolution. So you can't do business with them intellectually. David Horowitz talked about this ad nauseum in his writings. They are trained to lie for the cause. That's why you can't talk to them or deal with them intellectually.
By the way, it's not just them. That's why the Green-Red Alliance, because Islam,
Has
they
the same
will lie
same thing.
too. It is
Same thing.
actually in the.
But it goes against Judeo-Christian values. So we are in a
Yes.
clash of civilizations, people.
Yeah, we are. We are.
There's a reason Passover is the Last Supper. We're linked together historically and religiously.
100%, and that's why I wanted to show the Japanese thing. Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for cultural representations and things like that I think are very important, because they are our allies. They are here doing it, and look what happened. What a turn that.
Well, look how NATO and the Brits, our so-called allies, wouldn't even let us use the bases. Well, the chickens have come home to roost, my friend. We knew this day was coming with NATO. We knew that they would stab us in the back. They have violated all of the sanctions we had in place for years against Iran by doing business with them, with thousands of companies. The British were doing business with them. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. We're seeing who's on whose side. And that is to Trump's credit. He has forced these issues to the forefront of the world's view.
100%. 100%. Totally agree. And at least something's happening. I mean, we've been doing this for years now, by the way, and that includes the news. We've been doing the news for years now. And the amount of what we've had to cover and what is being done by the administration, it is so shocking. Last year, you and I were kind of exhausted.
Yeah, it was too much.
It really was. I mean, we're used to the Biden nap. And just going to be like, well, is he ever going to do this? Well, look, millions more came. That's what it was. It was the administration did nothing. Everything was being done to America.
Yeah.
Right now, it's actually reversed. America is making moves in the world.
They're not used to it. They're not used to it. Their heads are spinning around like the chick in The Exorcist. They're not used to this battering ram that's coming out of Washington, hitting them in the head. Now, it should have been done years ago. It doesn't matter. This guy's got a ticking clock of how fast he could do this. I'm sorry that it looks chaotic to people. I know you're disturbed. Your golf game has been disturbed. Your church service has been disturbed. But it's a life or death struggle right now. I'm sure during World War II, they didn't say, wow, this news is just so depressing. When we were losing the war early on in 1941, 1942, I'm sure it was depressing. But nevertheless, nobody said, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and like I started to say, I think the term could be political triage.
Yeah,
it's you have to take extreme cases and extreme moves because it's so far out of whack. You got to do what you can.
Well, look, I mean, look how the Venezuela-Iranian oil thing has affected our arch nemesis, China. Nobody's discussing that because it's just too fucking obvious.
Well, and Israel has nothing to do with China.
Right. It's amazing how these people are so upset that an all-volunteer army that represents 0.04% of the American public in terms of population has a professional army is being used in a professional capacity by the United States commander-in-chief to prevent a theocratic fascist regime from getting nuclear weapons. I know that sounds like an obtuse cause, but it's fairly righteous if you look at it that way without all your prejudices. The fact that everybody placated these mutts for so many freaking years and they kept deceiving the world with phony, uranium visits by the Atomic Energy Commission and everything else. And finally, somebody said enough is enough. Oh, that's outrageous. How dare you end the fucking military buildup of a theocratic fascist regime? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, and by the way, I feel like I'm slow on the uptake, but am I the only one who's drawn the parallel of 47 years with Iran and the 47th president?
No, I've never heard that, actually.
I literally just saw it today. I was like, what? that is kind of weird, though. It's like a 47-year-old problem.
Weird.
And the 47th president is the one.
How many years has he been talking about this, even out of politics?
For 40, about 45
I mean,
years.
25 years at least he's been talking about this problem. And all of a sudden, the phony woke MAGA Third Reich is all of a sudden shocked that he's been saying this, and 800 videos that he wants to, destroy Iran's infrastructure and take the oil. They're shocked that anybody would use American military might. How dare they use that? He's clearly been deceived by hypnotic Jews who came into the White House secretly. Give me a fucking break, you retards.
Yeah, and I mean, Israel obviously has to do with Venezuela. Israel has to do with Taiwan. Israel has to do with China. Israel, anyway. It is good times. I'm gonna have to go through some super chats.
Go ahead with your super chats.
No. This has been, everybody's so generous today, and I really appreciate it. Mark can tell you it is a tough time right now. It's not a joke, and this means a lot. Pamela, happy Friday. Thank you so much, Pamela, and yay for President Trump. Agreed.
Right on. I may have to go back to my original job. It's been so tough, and that's singing the national anthem at cockfights in East LA if it goes any further.
Oh, speaking of singing the national anthem and causing hardship, Roseanne Barr apparently has a pretty bad heart condition, she announced. And
I always assumed she had a bad heart, based on her weight and everything else.
Yeah, so it's sad to see. I hope things work out, but she's saying that
she should get some Wegovy and start to lose some weight. I mean, because she's
lost her weight. She's way thin. No, okay. I actually wonder about that. No, she's been thin for a few years. Stacy Michaels gifted 10 memberships.
Let me tell you something. She worked. Stacey, you don't know about Stacy Michaels. She worked in an Oakland. No, see, I know our audience. She worked in a hospital in Oakland with Jim Jones's son, who survived the massacre. Oh, Hunley making faces. You don't know Hunley. She worked in an Oakland hospital in Kaiser Hospital with the surviving Jim Jones's son, who only survived because he was the son of Jim Jones, and his mother kind of scurried him out of there at the end, as Stacy is well aware. This was in Guyana during the Jonestown massacre.
I see.
Okay, well, I'm telling you.
I would never doubt. I would never doubt the veracity of Mark talking about her audience.
It's too crazy to make up. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, that hasn't stopped you before. Anyway, yeah. Bo Manon, 3737. The pics I've seen of the pipe, the timing device, is a spring wound egg timer. What kind of amateurish making was this?
It doesn't matter, bro. That's not the point of terrorism.
Yeah.
I know people have cited this as a meaningless experiment in a amateur hour situation. It was about terror and trying to blame the right for planting pipe bombs at these two institutional events. You really got to get your mind around this, people. They didn't plant nuclear weapons there. This was a terrorist event that they perpetuated and pulled off by the intelligence agencies of the United States government. Focusing on the actual bomb itself is meaningless. Meaningless. It was the event that they did this was the importance. Jesus. But thanks for the donation. That was insane.
Thank you very much. And all right, the next one here. I love seeing this because we've damn sure seen the opposite side. I love the Iran coverage. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you.
You know what? Thank you, Mungos. Finally,
Seriously,
somebody.
Thank you.
I mean, we're trying to find weird angles to these stories that nobody's covering. It just seems like just wall-to-wall nonsense of coverage that's out there. You know, if you look at the Wall Street Journal, you look at Bloomberg, you look at these mainstream news services, I don't trust any of them. I haven't trusted them since 2016, 2015. You know, and people all of a sudden go, hey, it's the front page of the New York Times today. I'm going, when did we start reading the New York Times again, people? Give me a
people
fucking
have been
break.
railing against the New York Times.
Right, all of a sudden they're the
them.
paper of record again. This is the same group that in 1939 said that Poland invaded Nazi Germany. I mean, and we're supposed to trust them on the Iranian war now? Give me a break.
Which, again, if it fits our narrative, they're suddenly an authoritative news source.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in debate all the way back in high school, and this reminds me of that. And one thing I learned when I was doing it, because I had to go to microfilm, guys.
Yeah,
Those who are old enough will remember.
I love microfilm. I could sit there all day. I could sit there all day today looking at microfilm.
Well, I spent many hours on it. But the trick of the debate was this: if you had a position, we would go and I would try to find a Harvard professor who would make a comment that would support whatever I wanted to say. And if I couldn't find that, I would find a Yale professor.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
And that is really the game that is
I didn't
being
know
played
that. That's
here.
kind of
It's
cool.
Okay,
kind of cool.
Let me go find the professor who mirrors the presentation I
they're
want to
honest
give.
brokers. They're honest brokers. A professor at fucking Yale. That's who you want your honesty from. Is that some douchebag Marxist professor who's probably not even a citizen?
Well, back then, I think they were citizens. They were just
they probably
commies.
were. Yeah, they probably were.
But they were communists back then. I'm very sure.
We got to clean out this country. We got to clean out academia. We got to get them out of here. I mean, you just have to crush these universities with lawsuits and settlements and getting these people out of there. This is where it starts, folks.
Absolutely.
Then go after the teachers' unions.
Sounds good to me. Sounds to me. Good to me. And we got a rumble rant from King of Biltong.
King of Biltong, ladies and gentlemen.
Who has some good dried meats, but not too dry. It's kind of like a beef jerky, and it's like really high-end meats, too.
Yeah.
It's not
it's
like
really
it's not Slim Jims from the grocery store. It's really high-end.
No, this is high-end stuff, bro.
But he's saying that he wants to give everybody here a discount code. And try AUS at Biltong USA, and that's Biltong with a G. And try some casing, some meats, and get yourself a discount. I don't know what the discount is, but AUS is the magic code for people to use. Let me see. Mark Hogston or Hogston.
Yeah, can we talk about Matahari? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do 3 weeks on Matahari because that's timely. Thanks, Mark. That's funny. Thank you. That's funny.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Stacey Michaels is coming back again.
No, because she knows I'm telling the truth about her and Jim Jones Jr.
Obviously, she is, because she's buying memberships. So she's trying to help us build a cult, which I completely support. Thank you.
She said the other day that she's been looking for a cult her whole life, and that she's finally found one.
All right. And it's sounding like it might be a 10% discount for Biltong, by the way, if people are wanting to check that out, which is awesome. K-Dog. Fetterman may be the Republicans' only hope of holding the Senate.
As a Democrat, you mean? Like he wins re-election as a Democrat?
I'm not sure what's going to happen with him, because he's really in risk of being primaried. It's Speaking of an arc, I mean, this is a guy that went from the zombie to
defeating Dr. Oz, who's in
as
the
a zombie.
As a
by
zombie.
the way, can't I point it out?
As a zombie, didn't even know where he was half the time.
Yeah, and it's bonkers.
It shows you the strength of the Democratic Party, that you could literally run a yellow dog and have it win. Fetterman was a yellow dog, the equivalent of a yellow dog. He was a zombie, as Eric says, and he defeated Oz, not because of any qualities or skills. It's because they would vote for a yellow dog, something the Republicans would fight over the color of some guy's necktie, whether to fucking vote for him or not, or whether he was in the right country club, whether to vote for him or not. To their credit, the Democratic Party knows they're in a war against the other side, and even if the guy's a fucking zombie, they'll vote for him. Well, I don't want to do that, Mark. I'd rather lose, because, as Rand Paul once said, blah, 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 fucking blah. Good luck when the Democrats take power again and start to crush you and incarcerate you, as they keep claiming they're going to do. They might interrupt your fucking golf game.
I agree. And by the way, anybody who questions that, consider who the previous president was.
Right.
So, Silent J, 1966. Does Greg Kelly have the qualifications to be an AG or the new FBI?
I don't
director?
know. That's a good question. His
I don't
father
know if he's a lawyer. He was a soldier.
There's some debate whether the AG has to be a lawyer.
That's true.
Right, we had this argument.
But you know what?
Channel.
But I have issues with this. Like, you can't be an attorney general without being the damn attorney.
I don't know if it's a legal requirement, but he could certainly be FBI director. I mean, his father was the police commissioner of New York, for Christ's sakes.
Right. Well, he could also be Department of War. I mean, Greg Kelly was a soldier.
Or DHS. Oh, yeah, he was a jet fighter pilot. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I think Kelly is going to be overjoyed because Hegseth finally got rid of that black general that he hated so much, the DEI general today. Kelly, I'm sure on Monday or tonight, no, probably tonight, is going to address this guy that he despised. He was like second to Milley, and Milley got out, but this black general did not. And he's out now, though.
Good. All right. Lynn Bleckstein, let the whiners go watch Candace Owens.
Thank you, Bleckstein. You know, Bleckstein's right. You know, when Bleckstein puts up a JFK Robert Groden book, you know, Bleckstein's in the right department.
Good eye, man.
Yeah, good. Let them go. Dude, do you ever read the crazy things that she writes? I mean, she's saying that the space program was something with the Israelis or something.
That's who I might have been subtweeting when I was saying earlier. With the telescope going the whole way, how are you going to make it up? I mean, right now, Tyler Robinson didn't shoot him because even though he was there, even though there was video of the guy crawling down off the roof, running around. No, hell no.
By the way, I don't want to get into it, but I think that ballistic story was to undermine the jury pool.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, because it was a complete lie.
Thank you.
The story was disgusting. It was
Thank you.
The story itself wasn't a complete lie. The headline was the lie.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a jury pool attempt. Yeah, to taint the jury pool.
It's
again, that's why they have suppression of statements done by judges of both sides in court cases for reasons like this.
Yes,
for reasons
that's
like
part
this.
of the reason they're not releasing evidence until the damn trial, people.
Right now, they're just making shit up to tamper the jury pool. Despicable, really despicable.
It is completely. And
just so those who don't know
what we're talking about, the Daily Mail reported, and by the way, the reporter, I think it was Tucker's friend.
Oh,
the same one who said that he was held in Israel.
Oh, Jesus.
I know that you'll be shocked to hear that such journalistic integrity would be going out. But anyway, the headline was defense evidence shows that the bullet was not from the rifle.
Right.
And the truth is the bullet was fragmented. It was in pieces, and they could not conclusively tie it to that rifle or any other rifle on the planet because it was shrapnel at that point, which is very common in a murder case. But no, don't let that get in the way of your lie and go around crowing like you said something. So it's
shocking. It really is shocking. Really is shocking.
And it's despicable. I mean, Charlie Kirk was a great man. I did not know how great he was until he died, sadly.
Me too.
But what they are doing to his name, his legacy,
dude,
his family,
it's just shocking how they just will not let this go.
Yeah, it is. It is horrible.
Pieces of shit.
All right, Al Gonzalez out of New York.
Whoa, wait a second here. Wait a minute.
All right. He said, heard today from solid sources that major Wall Street firms have set wheels in motion to leave New York City for Dallas and Florida because of Mamdani. This will be devastating to be the city on so many levels. Yeah, it will.
Yeah, they don't care. They will attempt to survive. By the way, thanks, Al. He is putting in more people into government than all the previous mayor offices added up together. He is hiring all of his crony Marxist friends, which is to be expected.
Patronage, baby.
What's that?
Patronage, baby.
No. But there's always been patronage. I'm talking about doubling the amount of people who are actually working there at $300,000 a year salaries, not just putting your people in at the same amount. In other words, if there's 1,500 jobs, whatever mayor is going to take those 1,500 jobs and replace them with his cronies, that's a given. He's making it 3,000 jobs and giving them $300,000 a year.
Yeah, I agree. And Wow, you guys are coming through. I just saw this coming across the line here. Beavis is coming in hot at $100. Howdy from Texas. Great show today. If Grandpa Wallace was alive, he would love this show. Happy Easter and Passover to everyone. AUS is greatly appreciated.
Now, this is, of course, George Wallace's grandson, one of the great supporters of the channel. His grandfather took a bullet for us, so or a couple of bullets from Arthur Bremer. And if you ever get to Alabama, maybe you could read the second half of Bremer's diary.
Or those who want an untold story could always watch our episode on Bremer on this channel,
right?
Which has already been done.
That's
it's
shocking.
There.
That's because of Beavis Wallace and the incredible amounts of money he's donating to the channels. He goes into the, like I said, the Super Chat Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Definitely. And he's keeping people walking better all the time.
Yeah. And there's a lot of friends of the show down in Texas, that's for sure. Australia, Texas, Canada, and the
England
UK.
even. Or UK. We want to bring him here.
And UK, yeah. By the way, it looks like the Irish are arming up. It looks like, I don't know if you saw that video. It seems like elements of the Irish citizenry is starting to arm itself to fight back against the Muslim Marxist scourge in Ireland.
Good. They need to. They need to. Okay. Well, Dustin here, we know really well. We've met Dustin multiple times at different meetups and everything else, but I think he wants to start a fight with Mark.
What does he want now? I don't have enough aggravation.
Congratulations to my Cleveland Indians who took 2 of 3 from the world champion Dodgers in LA.
You know what? That's a great team, Dustin. I was surprised at how the great pitching of the Indians and timely hitting of the Indians and great defense. It is a very, very strong team. They'll be there in the post. By the way, we're going to Toronto this week. Not me, the team, to play the Blue Jays again up in Canada. So that'll be a great series for you.
All right. Kathy, your realtor in Jersey, said, you guys produce a great evening news update. I look forward to it every time.
You know, Kathy's one of the great realtors of New Jersey, working out of Bergen County up by the bridge up there in Old Tappan. She's been selling a lot of real estate. If you need somebody, please tap into Kathy because she's got the inside scoop on great realty in New Jersey.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you very much. And we have Iron Mantis with $19.99, $20. Thank you.
Iron Mantis, of course, and his wife, Praying Mantis.
Yes, I was going to say they're praying every day, right? And then Big Bill with his, he always has an odd figure, 2333, which we appreciate. Great show. Happy Friday, guys. Happy flying, Big Bill. Thank you.
Must be a pilot. He's probably a pilot, right?
Yeah, I think he's definitely a pilot, especially when he says, when I hit that runway, I do blah, blah, blah.
Right. I remember.
So I kind of, sort of,
you know. He's landed at LaGuardia. That's why I remember him talking about the advice my dad gave me, never to land at LaGuardia in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Evil 814, subscribe. Don't let YouTube control what you watch.
It's not a question of controlling what you watch. I mean, you know, it's just their algorithm is so politically manipulative that we've been in this tiny room, as Tim calls it, for a number of years. And if you notice, the subscriptions never moves. It's mathematically
lately they've moved down.
Yeah, it's mathematically impossible. But Tim explained to us that the YouTube puts you in a electronic tiny room in a box when they politically don't like you. So your super chats are keeping us alive. So this is your channel, not ours.
Absolutely. And I've queried, and you'd be interested to know that the amount of repeat watchers is really, really high. The amount of new watchers, they don't exist because YouTube doesn't share. And that's what the tiny room suppression is. It's just like, we'll show it to the people who are your regulars.
Yeah.
And then that kind of keeps you going and keeps you talking. You think you're doing good, but nobody else is going to find out about this.
They won't blast it out. They won't blast it out. Yeah.
Yep. We need you to do that if you're willing. Tell a friend, tell people you like.
Well, what's
hey,
this
go
hyping
check this
thing?
out.
Maybe that hype thing might help, the new thing.
Yeah, I've got to figure that out. There's a
Mike
way
Schaefer figured it out. He's been hyping my other channels, and I think you're limited to 2 or 3
3
hype.
weeks.
Oh, 3 a week. So I think
Yeah.
he's now asking other people in the chat to
Yes.
hype after he's been hyped out to make a new phrase.
Yeah, it's a hyper situation, and I definitely
Nice try, Hunley.
hope it's me there. Hey, you know what? This is my day job.
Nice try. All right, what else you got in the hopper over there?
Well, we got Diffuse.
Wait, oh my God.
Yeah, no, everybody's just they're coming through like crazy here. Oh, hey, you know what? People are pointing out on Rumble. You can always repost on Rumble if you
there's something
this there.
There's something
there. I don't even know how to do that, but there's a
go back
repost
to my
button.
livestock.
No, there's a repost button. Okay, that's how you do
Diffuse's
it.
livestock are running wild through the field as he's doing this. His cows are trying to escape.
All right, yeah, let me read this. Mark and Eric, I have the show audio on my barn radio.
Barn radio.
So not monitoring the chat. Great show today. Mark, Shawshank with Viva was really fun and informative. Got to go back to the livestock. Trump is my hero, tractor guy.
That's funny. That's funny. Thank you, Diffuse.
All right, Sean Lucan saying a great and lively show, gentlemen. Happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah, happy Easter. Good Friday today. Good Friday to those who it applies. We've got also Passover this week. And both holidays coincide for a reason, because we're linked together with Judeo-Christian values. The Last Supper was what we call the Passover Seder.
That's true. Randall, 1956. David Horace's unholy alliance warned of the Green-Red alliance years ago. Merkel should get the, and I'm going to say, political Mussolini treatment. Just for the
Well, I haven't read, that's on my list of things to read is Unholy Alliance, but I'm up to in Radical Son, where he begins to interface with the Black Panthers, and it's despicable to read just how despicable the Panthers were and how they aligned with the white elites in the country to raise money. At some point, it must have been like $5 to $7 million that Huey Newton either blew on cocaine or bail money. But all of this money was used up by the Panthers that were raised by the white elites.
No,
It's just absolutely shocking history of the American left is really why you should read Radical Son by David Horowitz, going all the way back to the 1930s with his own parents, with his own feud with his own parents, that he is not exactly aligned with them. This is a leader of the new left. This is not like a guy who came out as a conservative back in 1967. This is one of the, Tom Hayden is like his best intellectual friend. And yet his parents still don't accept him because he's not a Soviet Leninist Marxist. I mean, it's just shocking how rigid their belief systems were.
Well, and that's because that is their religion. It's before family, and that is why they want to break up the atomistic family unit.
Right.
We have right here the nuclear family.
Yeah, no, he has 5 children, and his father is disgusted that he has 5 children. And his mother says they didn't have any children until they realized that Stalin was dead and their dream was dead, so they were allowed 2 children. So he violated their norms that they artificially created by their own psycho-communistic beliefs and by having 5 children. So he's denounced by his own parents.
By the way, just so everybody knows, I saw this earlier and now I'm going to jump on it too.
Go ahead.
Audible is having a sale right now with up to 85% off of their books.
Wow.
So
I'm going to
just so you understand this, if you want to get Unholy Alliance right now, it's $3.44 if you're an Audible member.
I'm in.
Or Radical Son is $7.24, and Mark is so excited he left to go to Audible, it appears. But anyway, definitely consider checking these out.
A second, let me switch cameras here.
He's off to Audible. Oh, okay.
I know that's exactly what I did. Hold on, let me switch cameras. I went off to Audible for a second there.
All right. Anyway, Audible.com, they've got that sale 85% off. That is a very good, and I get nothing out of it, by the way. So I'm just letting you know it's a good time to go buy this on Audible. You've got a stack of you know what? I have that problem too. I have a lot of Audible books that I haven't gotten to yet, but they are here.
I'm back in. I just had to go see if Eric was telling the truth, which he is.
Yes, of course I'm telling the truth.
No, dude, I'm buying them all after this.
I just dumped like $60 in Audible today, so that's why I looked, and I looked at those. I'm like, holy shit! I mean, all of his books are down there. America Betrayed, 325. Enemy Within, 255. So I mean,
wow, it's a field day.
Yeah, Dark Agenda. Yeah, they're all there.
Good. So, everybody should buy those because you'll learn the history of your own country. You can't fight them if you don't know who you're fighting, people. You have to understand the left to understand who you're fighting. And I know you don't want to be bothered. You wish it would all go away. It's not going away. They're fucking psychos. You have to meet them head on and fight them. At least learn who the fuck they are. Learn their lingo so you know who you're talking to.
I agree. And wow, we got some more people just throwing down the support. So awesome.
I asked you this question under another
Silent
name.
J 1966. Hey Mark, I asked you this question under another name.
Under an assumed
find
name.
Another Joe McCarthy to rid our institution of all these commies. RFK is my choice. Any suggestions?
It's not one person, bro. You can't. This has to be an armed fighting back on every fucking level. It's way past 1951. That's not where we are anymore. They have infiltrated every fucking aspect of our culture. This is not a one-man job. It has to be every single one of this, getting rid of them on every single level. And I mean the school board of Des Moines, Iowa. I mean, that every single part of the country is infiltrated with these cocksuckers. And it's going to take all of us, if we have a shot in hell, which I don't even know if we do, to get rid of them. So again, nobody's riding in on a fucking white horse to save your ass, Silent J. And I mean that to everybody. This is something that's got to be a group effort on every single level, in every county, in every state in this country. And I mean that blue, green, yellow, whatever place you live in. This thing has got to be done by all of us. That's how much we've let our guard down. Locking the border down is not going to eliminate this problem. We're now locked in with the people we have to destroy.
I agree 100%, and would add, as Mark said, we've been culturally infiltrated to the nth degree.
Yeah.
When McCarthy was around, we were still saying the Pledge of Allegiance in the classroom. We had far greater church attendance at the time. The country as a whole culturally was not so far gone to the right. So we have to unwind so much damage. It's going to take 2 or 3 generations. I have a
absolutely. If we have a chance, I mean, we have to stop the bleeding first of all, and then begin to, strengthen ourselves, because we're hemorrhaging right now. We are hemorrhaging. I mean, Trump is only one guy. People think it's high noon with Gary Cooper. You're just going to hire this guy to clean up the mess in the town. It ain't going to work, folks. I mean, this is one man. He's going to be gone in 36 months. Now, what are you going to do?
I agree. And Beavis Wallace is coming in hot again. Now that Mark is gone. Oh, shit. Mark, get off the camera. No. All right. Now that Mark is gone, let's talk smack about him. If you want to annoy him, spell Mark as M-A-R-C.
Oh, that is annoying. That is.
Yeah, it is. That's like, by the way, my name is Hunley. There's no D, no T.
Oh, right. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, whatever. Anymore, I'm like, at least they know my name. So I just
finish the super chat for this guy, because
all right, yes.
Wallace is busy and he's got his grandfather.
Right. Now you're interrupting me reading it.
You interrupted yourself. You started.
Okay, so don't help. Anyway, anyone else know how to annoy Mark? Mark is correct. Never say yes to a Marxist. The answer to them is always hell no. Okay, I'll tell you how to annoy Mark, and then I'm going to doubly annoy it, because I'm going to tell you how to annoy Mark. Go ahead and leave a comment correcting Mark about something he says and be
Oh, my
wrong
God.
in your correction.
Oh, you know how many times this has happened? Eric's correct. They have corrected me, and they're wrong in their correction, which is, it's fine if you're correcting me and you're right, but 99% of the time, and then I'll write back going, no, it was 1933 as I originally said, or whatever the thing was. It's astounding how many times this has happened in my professional AUS career. That being said, it's Beavis Wallace is correct. However, they're not admitting they're fucking Marxists, bro. They're not wearing a t-shirt. They're not wearing a Che Guevara hat anymore. There's no full page ad in the New York Times. They are secretive. They are liars. When you read Horowitz, he explains how they talk about this among themselves to constantly deceive the American public, that they should not know that they're communists behind the scenes working. This is part of their game. They're not wearing uniforms. This is a guerrilla army that has infiltrated the United States. They're not wearing the red uniform of the British in 1776.
That's very true. Very true. Pirate Ken.
You know, this guy, Pirate Ken, this guy's a renegade. Let me tell you right now.
Yeah, he is. He's such a renegade. He found some gold pieces of 8 on the beach and thought we might need some support to help the cause for home defense. Great suffering sea slugs. I'm with you.
Pirate Ken. You know, Ken's one of the great pirates of all time. Barry Bonds was a pirate. There's a lot of great pirates. Pirate Ken is up there in the Pirate Hall of Fame. Bill Mazeroski, of course, one of the great pirates who passed away a couple of
I like
weeks
to
ago.
stick with the real, like the good ones like Blackbeard and Captain
Blackbeard's
Kidd.
a popular pirate, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and also I live in Hampton where his head was displayed after he was killed.
Wasn't he decapitated or something?
Yes, he was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was decapitated and his head was brought back here
right,
to Hampton,
yeah, right.
and stuck on a pike, essentially on the mouth of the Hampton Roads.
Wow.
So, or Hampton River, but either way. All right, Lisa Deed, 98.99. I'm tired of hearing it's typical to lose.
Yeah, look,
these are not typical times.
Well, it's not that it's typical. Typical is not the right word. It's historical.
Yes.
There are a couple of aberrations. It could happen, but it doesn't look good based on what we see. Now, that being said, we have, and I say we, the Republican Party has 5 times the amount of money for this midterm election cycle than the Republicans do. It's an enormous amount of money that they've raised, 5 times the amount of Democrats. If they were able to use this money properly, in theory, you could defeat them during the midterms, but they tend to squander it away by running ads for their rhino cronies to keep them back in power. But that being said, this election cycle, and others have discussed this, they have raised 5 times the amount of money as the Democrats, which is astounding. So the tools are there, but the incompetence is there and the political will is not there.
Right. And I don't think the sense of urgency like 2024 is there. And
No,
I so badly want that to happen, where it's like, I remember, I mean, when Mark and I went to Florida, we were in a panic. The audience was in panic. We're having the meetup. It was, I mean, it's dire. And we need to get some of that dire attitude.
It's amazing how placidil they are. The White House should take Stephen Miller and put him in charge of that money. Let him leave on a sabbatical to take charge of the RNC, to use that money to defeat these sons of bitches. Because having a guy, with a Brooks Brothers suit over there at the RNC playing golf, having all that money to squander away as RNCs have done in the past, is just going to lead to a 25-seat majority for the Democrats.
True. Now, I'm not familiar with this, and maybe you are. Gigi Evan said, been seeing a lot of people online pushing the, quote, City of London story in relation to Iran. Any truth to that?
What is the City of London
flavor
story?
Of stupid?
What is the City of London story? What does that mean?
I hadn't heard of it. That's why.
Well, you got to explain a little bit more, Evan. I mean, we can't read between the lines. I mean, we're going to need some more information. I can't really respond.
Okay. Yeah, I know. We try to read as widely as we can, but we miss certain things for sure. Gata Politics. Gracias for the month gift membership.
Somebody got one, huh?
Oh yeah.
We don't control that, by the way. That is
no, unfortunately, and I think it sucks. YouTube just automatically distributes, and you have, and the people who buy the
randomly
have
is
no
really
options.
The right word. Not automatically, randomly.
Well, it's both. It's automatic and random.
Okay.
I mean, it happens when they buy it, but I wish that the people buying it could designate for different people, and then whatever they didn't know could be random at that point. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. James Bundy with a $10 super sticker. Thank you, James.
Again, this is a guy who rebelled against his uncle Ted Bundy and lived a marvelous life so far. James Bundy, thank you.
Great.
His crazy uncle really almost undermined the entire family.
JSBL for job, I guess. JB, I'm on the bandwagon of support. Hoping Mark mentions my fat ass.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
both.
ass. Let me tell you something. JS has one of the largest rear ends of any man. I mean, it's almost to the point of Nadler in the house. How big that ass actually is, and he's proud of it for the 1999. Thank you, JS.
There you go.
I think it's genetic for him. I mean, his father had a fat ass, his grandfather, and unfortunately his mother had a huge fat ass. But it doesn't mean that they're politically incorrect. He is on it. He knows what we're talking about.
I see. Okay. NJ Kathy, I feel so blessed that I'm now part of a cult.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. There's good cults and there's bad cults. You know what I mean? Yep. That orgasm cult kind of dissipated pretty quickly this week. She was sentenced to 9 years in state prison. So that cult's got some problems.
Yeah, not great on that.
Cult, the orgasm cult.
Dr. Evil. Mark, you must have had AUS coffee today. You seem wound up.
It's not a question of coffee or not coffee, man.
No. It is a question of coffee, and everyone could be wound up themselves.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Nice segue, Hunley.
Well, he literally handed it to me. Somebody paid to help me do my job. Thank you, Dr. Evil. But yes, Mark may well have been drinking some AUS coffee. I don't know if it'll be the Supreme Breakfast Blend or the Magic Bullet Blend, but both of them are fire, and you will enjoy them. Literally, actually, he's just sent me 3 reviews that came in today.
Just in.
People who just got the coffee, all, people loving the coffee, how smooth it is. As I keep saying, you don't have to have cream with it. It's wonderful, organic coffee, completely balanced, quite delicious. We've gotten nothing but positive feedback from the coffee, and I do appreciate it. Sure, Gregory, we're not a coffee cult, but we could be a coffee cult. I don't know. It is good enough to be a proper cult drink, but I'm going to leave that to the late great Scott Adams, who had the simultaneous sip every day.
He did.
He will be missed. Yeah, his show always started with a simultaneous sip.
Oh,
and he said you could choose whatever drink you want. His coffee is what he chose.
Wow.
And he would start the show. I think his show still does that. There's like revolving hosts.
Oh, I see.
Sad because Charlie Kirk, Scott Adams, the shows are still kind of going on, but they're not there. Goodman Brad, love you guys. I'm Flip 1963 on Saturday. We have to win the war for our nation.
Yeah, it's a different kind of war, good man, Brad. I'm sorry that it's not the same World War II with Patton and everything else. Each war is not the war before it. This is a political, physical, internal war, and these guys have burrowed themselves in on purpose into the society to dismantle it from the inside. They talk about it all the time. We continue to ignore it, thinking, oh, how much damage could they fucking do? They could do an enormous and have done enormous amounts of damage to this country already. And somebody's got to stand up and say, this is the enemy. The Chinese are in China, but they have their people here in Northern California, in Washington State, in Oregon, in Seattle, in Sacramento, in New York. They are everywhere within our culture. The FBI is not going to get them out one at a time. I mean, we need to all be McCarthy's at this point. All of us have to be McCarthy's.
Yes.
I mean, this guy planted bombs on an Air Force base the other day and fled back to China. We've got his sister. How did his sister come here? She was part of the tourist births of the Chinese. And everybody goes, oh, that sounds a little extreme. Well, I mean, it's in Peter Schweizer's new book. You know how many millions of American citizens they've birthed?
10% of new births were actually the tourism. And there's even, is it the Marianas? There's even an area that literally is part of the whole economy in this area, that because it's not nowhere nearly as far. They fly in there, boom, have the kid. Oh, look at that, an American citizen. Sick.
Yep.
Beavis Wallace, $100 again. Beavis, you're wow. Single-handedly, Beavis is our sponsor today. No, Beavis, Mark, I will correct you. A Marxist will always whine and complain, threaten and cry until they get their way. Their uniform is a loud, shrill voice and crazy eyes.
Right. That is the lowest level rank and file street Marxist. I am talking about the leadership that is in the universities, that is in your third grade girls' school, that have positions of power as the principal of your high school. What he is correct, Beavis Wallace, but he's talking about the crazy people on the street. That's their rank and file foot soldiers. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person that runs the teachers union in your city, the leadership that has 100,000 people underneath them, the guys who have infiltrated, the Mark Millies who've infiltrated the Pentagon. That's who we got to get out first. We'll get to these people on the street, these crazy fucking loonies, but that's not who we're going for right now. We got to take out the leadership that's in this country.
And by the way, on that note, I've been doing a lot of research on Oklahoma City, and Kelvin Pierce, his father is William Luther Pierce, and he worked with George Lincoln Rockwell. And Pierce was complaining to Rockwell about all these idiots who were following Rockwell, and Rockwell said, we need those. We need those uneducated people.
Oh, without a doubt.
They're the pitchfork carriers and stuff. So that's what Mark is talking about. That what you're describing is the same thing that Rockwell was using as, American Nazis, essentially. It's the same basic principle.
Well, they went to the Nation of Islam convention. They tried to form a alliance with Farrakhan. Yeah, and they almost succeeded, but there was just too much hatred on both sides to form that alliance. But the alliance has now been formed.
You mean Islam was forming an alliance? Oh, that's shocking.
With the American Nazi Party,
American Islamists with American, somehow they go well together. Taylor Parlick, Happy Easter. Radical Sun is one of my favorite books. From Red Diaper Baby to Conservative, David was one of the sharpest minds we had. I love 10 Reasons Why Reparations Made No Sense. Pissed off a lot of the right people.
Yeah, Taylor, I mean, thank you for the donation, but Horowitz, because he covers the entire spectrum of American politics as one person, and it's not just ideological. He lived and dealt with these people at Ramparts magazine, where he was the editor of Ramparts, with Tom Hayden and everyone else, and he outs all these motherfuckers and their incredible hypocrisy in the book. He tried to keep himself out of stuff, but I mean, literally, they're coming to him with stolen intelligence. They're going over to deal with the Viet Cong. They're undermining the Vietnam War internally. It's enough to make your blood boil how awful it got.
I agree. Ginny's getting inky with it. First step, getting rid of communism, is homeschooling your kids, spending time with them and telling them what a power-based world view looks like versus a truth-based views. It's a generational battle that isn't ending anytime soon.
No, I love the donation, but if we all homeschooled our kids, we wouldn't have any public schools. We wouldn't have any institutions. We can't run away from the institutions that are ours. We need to take back the fucking institutions, not give them up to the Marxists. If you want to homeschool your kid, knock yourself out. Some people dig it. We can't run and hide. We can't pull our kids into an ostrich society where we're at home and their social growth is stunted by not having interaction with other kids. We need to take back the fucking institutions that they've stolen from us.
True. And this one, I think you have. JMD 76. Hey, Mark, you ever run into Bob Forrest? Great guy in the recovery community.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, if you can't not run into him if you hang out with.
Yeah, he's a close friend of Dr. Drew's, more than mine. But yeah, of course, I've run into him.
Aren't they partners in like some of their endeavors or something?
That was a long time ago.
Okay. GG Evan 317. The city of London is an actual place within London. It's a 1 square mile city state that Lloyd's of London is based at. A lot of financial conspiracies surrounded it. Now, hold on.
I don't know what to make of that.
London itself was 1 square mile.
I'm a little confused here. The city of London has conspiracies around it?
Well, yeah.
Isn't Lloyd's of London an insurance company?
It is.
I'm even more confused.
And by the way, now that you say that, the city of London is London. London itself.
Yeah,
from
that's
when
like
we were there,
City.
I learned that it is a 1 square mile city. That there's another city right next to it, and when they talk about London metropolitan, it includes these areas. But
right, but what's your main point here? You're defining these terms. Well, what are you getting at, Chief? What are you trying to say?
I don't know.
Come back with another super chat, and
it's going to have to be next time, I think, because we're going to be
no. Let the guy come back, Hunley. Stop shutting off the people.
Oh, look at you!
Dude, let them speak.
This
let
is Mark.
Them speak, Hunley.
Westminster is the other half of London. Thank you. Westminster and then London are together. Somebody saying like the Vatican City. Okay.
All right.
All right. Silent
he's back.
No, this is somebody else. Salty Cracker said the best way to take down lefties and communists is by using memes.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sure that upsets
Trump
them.
needs to create a department of memes. They hate being.
Yeah, they hate.
He already has.
Yeah. They don't give a shit about your memes, Silent J. They don't give a fuck about memes. I'll tell you that right now. I don't give a shit what Salty Cracker says.
They do hate it, but it's not enough.
I'm sure it rocks their world. They can't even breathe. They're choked to death by fucking memes. Give me a break.
I'm not quite as far as Mark on that. I think the memes are effective for pointing out things, but more teeth has to come with it.
So, yeah. Okay.
That would be the way it go. But everybody, you have been incredibly generous tonight. I mean, seriously, thank you so much. I hope you do consider following us to Locals, where we can continue having this chat. Won't be censored, not have to worry about it. We can say things like self-deletion and use the actual word. I always get so excited. It's so bad.
First word I'm going to say when we get over there. That's the first word.
There's a pause before I say the actual word. I always, I like literally trip over my own words. I mean, okay. I can say that word now. It's really, really, really crazy. But unstructured.locals.com. You could be a member for free. Hang out. There's a chat there. If you want to continue supporting, I don't even want to ask for support. You've been so generous tonight. I'm blown away by it. Mark is very casual and blasé.
What am I going to do?
I am blown away.
We deserve it. Let me put it that way. We fucking deserve it after all these years. I'll also say this. Wednesday, I got Chris Farley deep dive on What's Up with Lord Buckley. If you want to come over and see, a really fucking crazy story. Chris Farley's biography. And then on Thursday, Viva and I are going into LA Confidential, one of the great films of all time. Film noir, James Ellroy deep dive. So we got that coming up
Kevin
too.
Spacey, right?
Kevin Spacey as the Dragnet guy.
All right. And,
Badge of honor.
What to do with NATO?
Get out.
Super chat
Get
of the
out.
day. I think it's falling apart right now.
I'm kind
of good. If we achieve our objective, I'm sort of with Trump. Pull it.
Yeah.
Go get your own oil. Bye-bye.
Go get your own oil. Have your own. Why don't you have your own military alliance? We could take the America first. We take care of our own, and you take care of yourselves. You fucking cheese-eating, wine-snorting pieces of crap. Get some military there. See how long your socialist programs last when you got to pay 10% of your own GDP for military protection from your former Soviet enemies.
And on that happy, supportive thought, we will see you over in locals.